Yes, alright, the lads. Welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, back again with another transfer update, and this time it is Maddison. Finally, we do have an update on James Maddison from Sky Sports. It's not the best, but of course there is a couple of there are a couple of stories we're gonna dive into on James Maddison, and really Sky have gone deeper and told us the requirements, what Arsenal need to do to get James Maddison, the interest, the standpoint of Leicester City. They don't want to sell. That's according to Sky. They're not interested in selling. They would rather remain with the player for another season. So you're gonna dive into that. What does that mean for Arsenal? Where does it leave us with James Maddison? Do we rather go for Martin Odegaard, because it seems the Odegaard deal is becoming easier and easier? And Sky have actually compared both deals. One of the things they've said in the report is both deals will need hefty fees, transfer fees, but Arsenal can look to get Martin Odegaard rather than James Maddison. Please do smash a like on the video. Do me a favor. Give me that 50,000 subscriber mark. And the only way you're gonna do that is by subscribing. It's you guys that do that. It's not me. It's you guys that take just a second, look for the subscribe button, and then press on it. That really means a lot. And I want to say I'm very grateful. So let's get the party started. Sky Sport have actually put out an article regarding James Maddison and the situation with Arsenal. This is what they've had to say. James Maddison, Arsenal interested in signing Leicester City midfielder, but also monitoring Martin Odegaard's situation. And they're saying Arsenal are interested in James Maddison, but the deal would require a bid in excess of £70 million, with Leicester City not having no intention to sell. Arsenal are also Arsenal are also keeping a very keen eye on Martin Odegaard's situation at Real Madrid. Aaron Ramsdale talks continue. Ben White move imminent. That is according to Sky Sport today, and this is a complete report. This is a complete report on the James Maddison situation. So what Sky Sport is saying is there is interest from Arsenal. They acknowledge that, but there is no interest from Leicester City in selling. So we have we are back at stage one. We have a willing buyer. We do not have a willing seller, and that makes a transfer so difficult. It makes it more difficult, harder and harder than the Manuel Locatelli situation. Because with Manuel Locatelli, at least you have Sassuolo want to sell, and the player also wants a move, not to Arsenal, but he wants to move away from Sassuolo for a new challenge. In this one, James Maddison is interested in the move to Arsenal, but Leicester City are actually not interested in selling, and Sky Sport are actually saying that we could see a bid in excess of £70 million if Leicester City are going to be tempted into selling, and that is how ridiculous it is. £70 million to consider. Even to think about selling, it's ridiculous. 70 million. No one is gonna. We at least we know that Arsenal never gonna pay that that much for James Maddison. And now I think the Martin Odegaard deal makes a lot of sense. I think that Odegaard deal now makes more sense than ever, because with the Martin Odegaard deal, you're not going to pay 70 million pounds. Despite the fact that you'll need a lot of money as well, you're not going to pay 70 million pounds. You'll pay the greatest amount of money you'll pay is 55 million pounds, probably. The other thing we would think about with the Martin Odegaard situation is Madrid could be willing to sell, and the player also is willing to come back to Arsenal. So it becomes easier. Look, at times I don't want to go with the easy deal, because if it was going for easy deals, we could be out of the transfer window as well. We could just sign in anyone we find, anyone with an easy deal. But with James Maddison, because it's English, because Leicester City also don't want to sell, it's always gonna be expensive. It's always gonna be very heavy. the price tag is always is always going to be very heavy. Yeah, there were a couple of reports have been pointing out to 60 million euros, 60 million pounds. That could be the price. 60 million pounds, I would pay that. I think we would pay that for James Maddison. 70. If we have not bought Ben White, I think we can't do the deal. We can't pay the 70 because we paid 72 for Nicola Pepe, but 70 million pounds after spending 55 million pounds on Ben White, I don't see that happen. Honestly, I don't see that happen. I don't see how Arsenal go around that. What Sky are trying to propose is Arsenal could get themselves around the deal by getting in some money from player sales, by selling out a couple of players, maybe the Kolasinaks and the Xhakas. But I've already told you, and I've already questioned, how much can we get from selling our players? How much money can Arsenal actually raise from selling the likes of Xhakas, the likes of Matteo Guendouzi at 13 million, the likes? How much can we get? I think the highest we can get, by selling all those players is around 70 or 80 million pounds. And then look at the demand we have. We want a goalkeeper. We are in talks with Aaron Ramsdale. We want a goalkeeper. Talks are progressing. We want to, we have to pay for Ben White. We want a central midfielder. We want an attacking midfielder. It's always not going to be that easy. It's always never going to be that easy. So for the James Maddison deal, it's becoming a little bit more and more complicated, despite the fact that the likes of Peter O'Rourke have come out and said us to have positive signs, in signing the player. But it's becoming more complicated. Now Leicester City don't want to sell. They have put a hefty price tag, 70 million. That is absolutely ridiculous. I don't think we will pay that. I absolutely don't think we will go for that. So in the end, I think it's got to be Martin Odegaard. That is it. It's got to be Martin Odegaard, because with Martin Odegaard, it's a little bit easier to do. You can negotiate with Real Madrid if they feel they want to sell the player, if they feel they want offload the player. You can negotiate with them. Leicester City, and we know how hard Leicester City are in terms of negotiation. We know they're always going to ask for high prices. You know they're always going to be stubborn when it comes to their players. You know what? If we do not get Martin Odegaard and James Maddison, I would sign in Houssem Aouar as a number 10 or go for Julian Brandt. I know Julian Brandt is not at the level of James Maddison. He's not at the level of Martin Odegaard. But I think Julian Brandt can develop into a very good player if you give him the love, you give him the game time, and you also give him the responsibility that he's not having at Borussia Dortmund at the moment. I would go for Marcel Sabitzer or Sabitzer as well. I think he's a very interesting player, and we stop wasting time. So for me, it's now becoming more and more clear. It is either Martin Odegaard or no one. Arsenal have always wanted Odegaard, and it's becoming now more clear that you want to get James Maddison. You either go for Martin Odegaard, or you come out of this summer without an attacking midfielder. Do I want us to get out of the summer without an attacking midfielder? That is so risky. That is so risky. But that is the update from Sky Sport. Arsenal are preparing to begin talks with James Maddison, but it is very, very hard that a deal will come through. I'll speak to you very soon. Make sure you do smash a like on the video. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about the situation in the comments down below.